Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 2 games today. 2 regions, 2 games, Merlini. You're feeling fresh. You made it into the lobby this time, but just barely.
Special shout out to Dakota, his favorite, NA, Dota. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, man. Coddle's getting old.
Don't call him that.
See what I did there? Because Coddle is old. Coddle guy's getting older. Oh, yuck, yuck. Complexity versus Leviathan. A quick best of 1 here in the opening days of the group stage of Starladder America. Well, Complexity, they're the favorites. They beat Leviathan in the group stages of the Summit 2 America and then in the playoffs of the Summit 2 America. So what do you think here, Merlini? Do Leviathan stand a chance?
It depends on how badly Complexity wants it. Whether they...
Do they want it or do they not?
Well, in the playoffs, you definitely want it. In the first game of a group stage...
You only kind of want it?
Well, they might be... I don't know whether they're trying to like reform after what I saw as a lot of blatant weaknesses in the last season, or whether they're just going to try and perfect what they already have. So...
I mean, it's been like 3 days, so we'll see.
Well,
how different
no,
it is.
it's the ending of a season and starting of a new one. It's a really big time for them because they that's what they were going for. They were going for first place and they didn't get it. So you either try harder or you try something different.
Word. Well, beginning of a new tournament, a new season of Starladder, but they didn't play in the last season of Starladder.
But it's like an error for them. It's like, you know, they're boot camping. They're trying really hard. They're trying to. That's what they were aiming for. That's their TI.
Okay.
Right, and then they don't make their goals, and then so they either have to. They have to evaluate what happened for them for the last few months and try and proceed accordingly.
Oh, okay, I see what you
mean. So, like, mentally, I think it's a big thing. Like,
okay.
Not like, you know, in the grand scheme of things, but
for
them in their own little world, it's a big deal.
I like that. Okay, well, we'll see. So, what would you say their big weaknesses were before? We should look at this draft before it gets too far over. But
I think their drafts and their playstyle don't exactly coordinate together. Like when they make specific plays throughout the game, it's not exactly what their power curve should dictate. Like, they don't press their advantage when they have it, and when they're at a disadvantage, they just tend to play a lot safer. Then they're not, like, you know, rubbing in their opponent's face, hey, we got this pudge, we're going to kill you everywhere. It's not like that. You don't feel this, like, overbearing presence on their map when you're in a game versus them. Secondly, I think their drafts are slightly stale. They also don't utilize what's super popular. For example, they passed up Ancient Apparition for Brewmaster, and I think Brewmaster is by far stronger in this current day and age. And Moon Meander's Invoker also needs work. I don't know. Just some other stuff. Like Limp on the Tidehunter too. They didn't use one of the most popular heroes effectively at all in one of their playoff games. So there's some glaring weaknesses, and try and either practice up to what is popular at the moment, or go with your play style that is very strong, which...
They do go with that same general strategy pretty much every game, where they try to do okay in the lanes, get a little bit of an edge towards the tail end of the laning phase, and then just farm really heavy towards the late game. And just control the map and win in late game farm, not really execution. And sometimes that's their problem, that mid-game execution where they get bested. And here, this could be tricky for them. Jakiro, Brewmaster, and Tidehunter, all great mid-game fighters. And you've got the Lycan you got to deal with. Those guys can keep you busy while the Lycan's knocking down your towers. Batrider, pretty good for dealing with the split-pushing Lycan. And grabbing with the lasso, deals with BKB. But I'm just not understanding the first pick Ancient Apparition. Complexity is not the only team doing this. There are other teams in America. It's sort of like all the craze these days. And I just...
Dang, the Starladder ban.
That's some respect.
I'd like to go back to what you said about, like, they like to control the map, farm up, and win the game through items, not necessarily execution. And that's a big problem, because even when you're ahead, that won't necessarily secure you to victory, because you still need some sort of execution. But when you fall behind, they're not a comeback team. Like, because if they rely on items, if they don't have items, and they don't have the execution, they just lose. Right? That's not a good recipe for victory. So they need to learn how to fight without items, and then they can come back when they're behind, and they can press their advantage when they're ahead, or even when they're close, just because they know they can out-execute the opponent. So... going to this draft.
Yeah, some interesting hero choices here, though, in general. I guess that'll be probably the Limp Batrider for the off lane. Z-Freak and Bloody Nine will take the Rubit and AA. But who's playing this LC? Is that your Moon hero, or is that your Swindle hero? Are we thinking safe lane, middle? A lot of flexibility here. And Complexity does have last pick, so not a bad place to be in this draft. But wow, look at that push, man. Last pick, Shadow Shaman for Leviathan. This is a scary Radiant lineup here.
Legion Commander also could have been a somewhat of a deny pick. They could have easily banned it out though if they didn't want the opponents to get it because of Bat Rider. But like in terms of their lineup, it's very much like a lot of single target lockdown with Bat Rider and Legion Commander. No AoE stuns. You can kind of count TK of telekinesis, but not really as opposed to Leviathans who draft very heavy team fight as usual, some very hard disables, and of course the Blue Master Ultimate. Blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah. The final ban Lesh, kind of some respect there against Complexity. They have been running the Lesh, as we found out the other day, as a core, but here you go. Last pick Medusa. Swindlemelon's Medusa. I think he'll be taking that towards the mid lane, so that will make it a Moon Meander Legion. Now, we'll see. Complexity, one of these teams that does not have very rigid roles, and they tend to switch things up a bit.
I do like that about them.
Yeah. It adds a level of unpredictability. Swindle does tend to be their mid player, and we saw a solo mid Medusa the other day, and I'm trying to remember who it was.
It's pretty garbage, I think, compared to a lot of the other mids.
It's pretty garbage.
Well, she doesn't have a lot of things good for her. Like her lane controls pretty poor, especially in the mid lane, because Mystic Snake's so easy to dodge. She doesn't utilize runes very well. Like, oh god, a Medusa's running at me with DD. Whatever shall I do? You just run away.
Yeah, I'm actually getting a lot of packet loss here too, man. This is no fun for anyone.
Am I? I
got 46%. I'm losing all my packets. Hey, you're at 54. Oh, your packets are getting destroyed, man. Standard US East shit. Unfortunately, that's become the truth, man. US East has been awful recently.
The truth.
The truth.
US West has been not so good either.
I think it's been a little better than East, but I feel like East always acts up when I'm casting, and West is always acting up when I'm streaming, but not quite as bad.
Play EU, man.
Just play EU from the West Coast. That's fun.
I play EU.
What's the ping? What do you get, like 115 or something?
I wish.
Alright, maybe that was some wishful thinking.
220 maybe?
220?
160 to 220, 230?
160 is manageable.
160 is console.
Anything over 200.
It's playable, dude. It's not that bad.
I guess that's
Don't
true.
be a whiny baby.
You feel it, though. Oh, once you get over 200, I'm feeling it.
You're playing with a handicap, dude.
Yeah.
It's like playing with a handicap in golf, and then once you get up to the big leagues, like playing on USC, you're like, dang, my reaction speeds are amazing. Look at that dodge.
Usually if I have to play on...
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball, dude.
True
kind
statement.
of the same style.
I usually just pick Lich. That's my Europe strategy.
Oh, God.
Low.
Dude, I was playing with Navi US yesterday, and it was D2L, so it was one game Lux, one game US East. So we played the Lux game, and then it goes on US East, and then FNG drafts the most amazing ping-friendly lineup ever. Okay, let me tell you what it was. It was Venomancer, Ogre. What else was there? What was I playing?
Venom's pretty ping friendly.
It was Venomancer, Ogre, Naga Siren, Treant Protector, and Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, you've got Venomous Scale. That is your one skill shot.
You just drop. I was like, oh my gosh, FNG's a freaking mastermind.
This guy knows how to play around ping.
I know.
So when you get this guy a trophy.
If you make a mistake, whoops, I cast Living Armor on you. Whoops, I have Ogre with amazing stats, and I don't care if I just run into you. And also, there were some server issues at the time, too. But
wow.
Let's see, which one has the more ping-friendly lineup? I would say Radiant. Oh, actually, they have Deuce, though. Deuce is probably...
Brew is not very ping friendly. I would say Tide's somewhere in the middle.
Lycan's pretty friendly.
Lycan's pretty friendly. Rasta friendly-ish. Jakiro not so much.
Deuce is actually like almost #1 in terms of ping friendly heroes.
Yes. Stand there and A attack the ground. Pretty easy.
Make sure you have Mana Shield cast at some point.
Yeah, LC. I guess Bat Rider's pretty. Bat Rider and A. Both teams have their pros and their cons here.
I'll introduce old Leviathan here.
Okay, go at it.
We got Shibi on the Blue Master. We have Sunken on the Shadow Shaman. Nusham Dota on the Jakiro. Jenkins on the Tidehunter. And last but not least, who did I miss?
Shredder.
He's
on the Lycan.
He's on the Lycan.
How could you miss Shredder, dude? A name like that.
Wait, so why... Moon went a Stout Shield build. That's a little unusual for solo mid LC, I would say. Oh, actually, he's not solo mid.
I think he's going to go safe lane. Yeah, I think it'll be Moon in the safe lane on the LC. Bloody Nine takes the AA. Z-Freak on the Rubik. That puts Swindle on the mid Dusa, going with 2 branches and the Wraith Band. So off lane, Limp will take his Bat Rider here.
Medusa mid's not bad versus melee hero, because then you have a much higher chance of hitting this.
Who did this? Yeah, I think it was it might have been Complexity, actually. I think against Leviathan in the loser bracket semis?
No, I definitely...
No?
I casted that, and that was not the case.
I think it was when I was casting with Dakota. Somebody did it, and now I'm totally...
So that was round 1.
No, I cast with you for the... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess it was round 1. Yeah. I don't know. I'm having trouble remembering now, but I did see somebody do a solo mid Medusa not that long ago, and it's... I do think it's a little assy, though. It's one of those things that looks really good if your other lanes are winning.
Assy.
Assy, yeah. Like, ass and then adding the Y to make it an adjective.
Ass-like.
It is made of ass. Oh, you know that sound. That's Sunken. Grabbing the Stretch Armstrong shackles. Shredder doesn't even get a lick in.
Who doesn't get how at level 1? That's pretty interesting.
Feral Impulse level 1. I've seen Wolves level 1 for scouting, harassing, Hal, obviously, but Feral Impulse is interesting. I guess it does help with last hitting a good bit.
So does Hal. I mean, you're against a Bat Rider. You're really scared about missing last hits?
Apparently so.
41 damage versus 62.
Yeah.
Plus 9.
That's a good point. Bat Rider is going to pull the creep wave away from this double pull here. Nushi just going to see what he can do in terms of denies. Maybe get a little bit of XP here. But Limp having a pretty good time in the offlane. Radiant offlane. How's it going for Jenkins? Tide. He's right up in the mix. Getting a couple last hits. And Bloody 9 being pretty passive here. Hasn't skilled anything yet. And not really harassing Jenkins all so much.
I think it's a given that you get Chilling Touch early. Especially versus Tidehunter.
I think so, too.
I'm surprised that he didn't get it and just harass him out. Moon Meanders forced to trade a lot of his regen away from Jenkins. And Jenkins is almost out of regen himself, but you don't want your safe laner to have a tough time at all.
Yeah, and it's more interesting. I mean, why is Bloody 9 not doing anything? He's just leeching. He's just running back and forth. Okay. There you go. Finally starts poking him a little bit. Knocks off the Salve. It's a little something. Meanwhile, mid lane, Limp. He gets chased back. Looks like Sunken grabbed a haste rune here, the 2-minute spawn. And we'll push the Bat Rider out of the lane. A little Owl Courier, the Snowl. What's he bringing out?
Snowl, dude.
The Snowl.
I would assume a Snowl.
Bringing out the boots for the Medusa. The Snowl.
It's an owl, dude. Snowl the owl.
Snowl. Oh, I was thinking Snowl, like snow with an L, but yeah, Snowl the owl. I like that. Very clever.
It's a cool courier.
It's pretty cute. Yeah.
It needs some particle effects, though.
All right, don't get too crazy, Merlini here. You
well,
can't
I mean, look at this. Look at this. Unusual Fezzle Fees, the Magic Carpet Smeevil. Champions, green, prismatic.
Jesus, dude. This thing's got particles coming out its ass. Look at this. It's all over the place.
I know. That's what I'm talking about.
This is a pretty crazy
Leviathan's the stacked NA team. Who needs winnings when you have
carrying? A carpet, a chest, a little bag of money. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right, well, slow early game here. 3 minutes in. No kills quite yet, but oh, my last hits chart's messed up. There we go. So Lycan top in the charts. Dusa doing all right mid. It's kind of a break even with the brew.
Why do they have Rubik in there? I understand that they want to get experience, but it should be Rubik stacking, Bat Rider getting some experience. Bat Rider's actually already level 4 with some big ol' stacks. Man, he's actually doing very well in levels. GG, no golems for him.
Yeah, lucky. No golems there, and just a single pack of Alpha Wolves. So this is good news. Rubik can't really off-lane here, though. He can kind of stay in lane, and if they push into the tower, maybe leech a little XP. But that won't happen. The pull camp's not blocked, so they can double pull all day. Free reign of the Radiant jungle. Looks like Z-Freak will just move over to stacking some Ancients. So still finding some efficiencies.
Man, Limp is 5.5. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, this is really good for the Bat Rider. Ooh, potential movement onto Shibby. Level 5 Brewmaster. What do you think about Drunken Haze versus the Medusa?
It's good later. Her right click is so pathetic early that it doesn't really matter.
It's not worth in lane, but she's still, I mean, she's not like spam last hitting with Snake, is she? Is that how most of these last hits have come about?
No, but I mean,
it still messes up her last hitting, though. I feel like it's worth that value point.
At night.
Oh, down bottom. Hold that thought. Shredder. Telekinesis back. Moon caught in the shackles. Shredder's going to live, but can they get sunken instead? It's not looking so good for the Shadow Shaman. Moon Meander will draw the first blood. And now LC turns on to Nusham. Will cleanse the liquid fire, presses the attack. Nushi eating through the trees. There's the overwhelming odds. Lycan Wolves come out. Maybe some body blocks, but it won't matter. Fade Bolt from Rubik will finish off the Jakiro. And Complexity, they pick a Good place to fight early on. They get about 1,000 net worth trade and 2 kills.
Overwhelming odds move speed. So good right there, especially versus one of the slowest heroes in the game. Shadow Shaman with no booties.
Now up top, Batrider moving out of the jungle, already level 6, showing Jenkins front row seat to the Flame Show. And Limp will walk away 1 kill richer. Complexity striking 2 lanes at once.
So quick. You don't expect a Batrider to be level 6 at 5 minutes in.
You really don't. And he's been in the jungle for the last bit of it, so they haven't seen how quickly he's been able to pick up that XP. Nice rotations. And now Complexity with a pretty solid lead here. About 2,500 gold, 3K experience already. An explosive start.
Well, Sunken's walking around with no boots. He's about to die to Limp.
Oop. Whoop. All right, he'll live. So anyway, Drunken Haze versus the Medusa.
It's all right.
45% chance. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, you can just kind of just clap all day. You're already like somewhat mana starved against the Mystic Snake.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Mystic Snake makes it more.
You really want to use the clap.
Okay.
I definitely think that he should get it later.
Well, Brew finds his level 6 now, so he'll be a lot more difficult to gank with Primal Split online. Moon Meander now has duel. None of the kills he picked up earlier pre-level 6, so no extra damage yet. But it'll be coming. He has his phase boots, and they might be able to just jump on Jakiro down bottom. Not your easiest target, as we've seen, but could be a possibility.
They have been scouted out by the Wolves, though. Oh, and Complexity did a very good job of preventing the Ancient spawn from a Tidehunter. What a concept. Something that we've talked about a lot, but people just haven't really seemed to have done. And Tidehunter forced to go to the big stack to get his levels. And on the flip side, Complexity, they have their Ancient stack for good old Medusa.
Yeah, it looks like triple stack here for her. You're absolutely right, though. That's one of the things about the Tidehunter that's allowed him to really get out of control in a lot of games, is having just free range of the Ancients. And if he can take out like a big 5 stack around the 10-minute mark or so, it's pretty ridiculous how quickly that blink can come out. And then
GG, he missed a stack. It's hard to stack that once it's this big.
Which one?
The Dire Ancients. He went over there and tried to pull it and didn't leash, or at least too early.
Is that actually a 4 stack? No, it's just a 3
stack.
Okay. It definitely gets a little more tricky. Well, things still pretty quiet. Leviathan have not shown any signs of aggression yet this game. Lycan's still just farming away. I guess Shibby looking for the Blink Dagger before he gets too active. About 1,500 gold towards it. It'll make it 1,600 as he claps down that wave. Good stuff there. Dusa, Ring of Aquila, Brown Booties.
Why is she saving her skill point?
That's a good question. Down bottom, Ice Blast flies through. Connects on Jakiro, but they can't find the initiation. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe thinking about Stone Gaze.
Why would you not get Stone Gaze?
That's a good question.
You could get stats instead. I think that's a somewhat viable argument, but why would you need to wait on it? Maybe now he has 2 skill points. What are you doing there, Swindle Melons? Double split shot maybe?
Oh, up top, lasso onto Jenkins, right into a duel. That'll be an easy pick on the Tidehunter. Limp gets credit for it, but Moon will be happy to get the bonus damage that time around. Now your Blink Dagger on the Batrider's out, 5.5 minutes. Limp already finding 2 kills before the Blink Dagger, and level 8 at the 8-minute mark. This is incredible.
I mean, Tidehunter just seemed to be a huge liability for a lot of teams recently. It's no longer that first pick, like I can get away with anything because I have Tidehunter anymore.
Yeah, if you shut him down in lane and block the Ancients, what's his recovery mechanism? I guess just
Ravage kills, dude.
Jungle. Yeah.
Oh, my
down
goodness.
bottom. Huge Ice Blast connects on 3. Rubik finds 2 shatters. Not going to be able to grab the Lycan as Tide rotates over, but won't find anything out of the rotation. Shibby looking to chase down Limp in the Dire jungle.
That cross map Ice Blast. It's like screen wide diameter.
That thing hurts. A barrel of laughs up top. Limp and Shibby still going at it. It's a one-on-one.
A blah, 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 blah.
Rumble in the jungle.
Oh, the fake out.
Oh, another Ice Blast. Uh-oh, rinse and repeat, Merlini.
They're not that long this time, though.
This is a pretty big one. Just going to hit the Tidehunter. Still, he'll get telekinesis, pulled into the tower. Defensive Ravage used. No follow-up. That's not the way you want to blow your load if you're the Sea Cucumber.
So many long-range nukes, overwhelming odds, Fade Bolt, Ice Blast. They're just getting trucked. And Leviathan, they want to push. I guess with first pick AA, it just works wonders against Leviathan because they don't really seem to know what to do when they can't take down towers and group up as 5.
Yeah, maybe that's where that first pick, Ancient Apparition, that I was talking about in the draft, it's the counter to Leviathan.
Ruh-roh. The
Where do you
smoke
go
gank.
here?
You try not to die.
Do you gank the Jakiro? No, they want Big Wolfie. Shredder, they're coming for you. They might just get sunken instead. There's your Blink Rider. Flame Break back. Lasso, still available. Won't need it for this one. They'll duel, find some extra damage. Shibby hops in. Not enough mana for the ultimate. Oh, no. Now he's caught inside of the Lasso. He'll finally get the mana, but it won't matter. No split today, Brewmaster. Jenkins, no Ravage available. Ice Blast comes in from downtown. Larry Bird grabs the kill. That'll make it a 3-0 as Complexity once more come out on top.
Yikes. That's about all I have to sum up that fight.
10-0, 11 minutes in. I mean,
get a magic stick, Blue Master.
Yeah, that was bad. I guess did he get arcane booted from something? I don't know.
Just didn't have enough mana.
Jenkins, yeah. Jenkins arcane booted him right when he got lassoed, so he almost had enough mana for the split. But
this is where the stats comes in, dude. If you have 1 point in stats instead of 3 Drunken Brawler.
That's true. Right here, they'll get the split off. Moon Meander stuck inside the ice path. They secure the kill there, and Leviathan finally get on the board. It took him 11 minutes, and they get 1,000 net worth out of it. But it costs him a Brewmaster ultimate on top of that.
Not worth. Oh, he's trying to steal the split. Clap, man, clap. Use the clap. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, that's a big
He
steal.
almost got it stolen.
There's actually a lot of big spells for Rubik this game. We didn't really comment on it, but not too bad. Lycan's kind of the only one who doesn't have too much. I guess stealing Howl is pretty good.
Stealing Shapeshift, dude.
Yeah, steal Shapeshift.
Yeah, dude, you're a ranged wolf. How cool is that?
I guess with the transformation time, oh, that is interesting. So you shoot the projectile? Are you actually a ranged wolf?
Yeah, you are a ranged wolf.
Oh. I guess now with the cast time, it's a lot easier to steal. I didn't really think about that. I like it.
Yeah, dude, he's cool. That's cool with it.
All right. Well,
and he can crit.
Here's the Z-Freak stealing the shapeshift. I hope he can do it. Ooh, Limp. He grabs the smoke in the bottom lane. Maybe thinking about a rotation. This is where the solo mid Dusa is really good. If you win your other 2 lanes and then mid's just kind of a break even, all of a sudden you've got this Dusa who's like super farmed. Down bottom, Shredder. Whoa, he gets lasso. Catch the tail end of that one, trying to push the tower. Gets off the.
Well, to be fair, like any farmer in mid is good if your other 2 are winning. Your mid's break even. Like Shadow Fiend's really good. Naga is really good. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
It's kind of just Complexity just walking over
blanket
the
statement
on the back of Limp.
All right, fair enough. Blink Dagger now up on Moon Meander, so LC going to have some longer reach. Only 20 damage from the duels, but not bad for 12 minutes. Mid lane, Ice Blast comes in, connects just on Jenkins. Sunken pressing forward, wards come down, and a little bit of damage to Swindle. They give him the tickle. And now the tier 1 mid. We'll take some decent damage. Liquid Fire is maxed out, so she'll tick down slowly but surely. Swindle just clearing out these Serpent Wards, getting some decent farm off that. They've already used the Glyph. They will commit for the tower, but Stone Gaze comes out. Swindle pushes him back. Glyph is used. The tower will live. Moon will stay around for the deny. Finds it. Ancient Apparition gets a tower kill in one of the side lanes while all this happens. So Complexity went out big, even here in the mid. They're just finding victories at every turn, Merlini.
Yep. It's looking ugly. They do finally get a tower, though. Another tower. So, but aside from that, what can Leviathan do besides go for T1s? Their farming is like okay, but...
I mean, I think they can... Do they have a Blink on Tide? No, not even close. Oh, Jenkins. I mean, when you have a Tide Hunter that's 0-4-0, nowhere near a Blink, hasn't been able to do anything aggressively with these Ravages, I think your priority is getting some kills with Ravage and Split. If you have those 2 cooldowns available, you smoke, you rotate, you go out for blood. But conversely, if those ganks fail, then they know you don't have your big cooldowns, and then they just wreck you. So it is a toughie for Leviathan, but they're getting into... We need to take some risk mode. Shibby barely blinks out. Ice Blast flying through, will not connect, and all right, Shibby will get a pass this time. Force Staff up on the Bat Rider, Blink Dagger on the Rubik, and Moon Meander. Ooh, he's invisible up top. He's thinking about it. He's like, hey there, Shredder. You want to rumble? They'll find Sunken. Swindle's here for some extra damage, and more than enough to bring down the Shadow Shaman. Moon gets some damage out of it. That'll put him at 34, 14 minutes in.
Couple more victories under the belt for him, and yeah, Complexity certainly have the late game with Medusa.
Is there any hope with this Lycan? The power of the rats?
If they can get Roshan.
He does have Aegis. Power treads on the Lycan. Okay. Up top, Swindle initiated on. A Barrel of Laughs gets off the Stone Gaze. That'll basically stop them dead in their tracks. Shibi gets petrified, and that's it.
Yeah, he tried to ult, but then he got Mystic Snake.
Oh, man. Say goodbye to your mana. Ice Blast will not connect on any enemy heroes. Complexity will kind of be on the back foot here as they reconvene. Limp does have a lasso, so they could possibly try something. Moon also with a duel. They've got 2 heroes down bottom. Bloody Nine pressuring the lane a little bit, and they've got Z-Freak farming away. He is stuck without a TP, so no easy way to get back to this tier 2. And Complexity will just try to buy as much time as they can while Z-Freak stacks the Ancients. Courier does run him a TP now, so they could possibly take a team fight here. Primal Split and Ravage still at the ready. There's the shapeshift for Shredder.
Yeah, but A bus is going to come out if they go for a push on the next wave. It's coming out right now.
Radiant's middle
a little bit
tower
early.
is under attack.
Ooh, the smoke. Maybe it'll clip a few of them as it flies through. No, completely off the mark. 5-hero rotation. Looks like they want to go through the jungle, out of the top lane, perhaps just towards the mid. They do ping out Limp. They find him. Shibi initiates. Slows him with the clap, but the follow-up damage just isn't there. Maybe with the Ravage they can find this kill. Well, they don't need the Ravage, but it will still connect on 2. Bloody Nine, the next target is Swindle. Dealing with the wards. Bloody Nine getting clicked hard. Will go down to the ice path. Swindle, no Stone Gaze for another 5 seconds, but totally out of mana here. Moonamander on his way in with the double damage, finds the easy kill on Sunken. Shredder just trying to mount the defense. Swindle will survive, and their tower with plenty of hit points to spare. Complexity, they lose 2, pick up 1, and Leviathan will back out, but they've used all their big cooldowns now, so Complexity can feel pretty good about fighting within the next 2 minutes or so.
Yep. Complexity also need to take on that mid T1. Leviathan's getting a little bit too much room to roam, and Brewmaster using his ultimate very, very early on, which is good, because in a couple other fights he hasn't been able to get it off. If he gets his Brewmaster ult, everyone kind of has to turn tail and run. Medusa just gets cycloned, or Kayadashita didn't actually have any mana for that fight. Not exactly sure why AA TP'd in, and why he used his ultimate so early in that last fight.
Yeah.
If he gets it off on them, they can't use their Blink Daggers on Brewmaster, which makes it very easy for them to jump on him with Batrider.
Well, speaking of the Ice Blast down bottom, Shibi about to get smacked by it. Batrider comes in, a little fire and ice for the all back there, Brewmaster. Lasso right onto the Firefly. He'll start stacking up the stickies, but I don't think Limp has the damage for this one. And there will be some support inbound. Lycan's on his way, hits him with a Flame Break. Maybe Limp can do it all by himself. Firefly's there once more, finds the last attack he needs, and okay, Batrider chases him down, makes some space for the top lane to pressure this tower, and yeah, Lycan not going to be able to catch him.
Ooh, it's the Armlet Legion build. Don't see
Okay.
that very often.
No, not too much. I've seen it in pubs a lot more than I have competitive play. It's okay, and it makes LC pretty tanky.
The armor's nice.
Yeah, that too. It's okay. I don't hate it.
It's not great, it's not terrible.
Yeah, I think Maelstrom Blade Mail has well, Armlet has a pretty easy build up, but those items have pretty easy build ups, and
Blade Mail BKB is
they
I
give
think
you a lot of
the
utility.
most standard after Blink.
Yeah. The Blade Mail in particular is just so good. Any kind of taunt, it just suits the hero so well, and also gives you some nice armor similar to the Armlet. Mid lane, maybe they'll jump on Shibi again. LC's got a duel ready. Moon's scouting it out. He's thinking about it. Ice Blast comes flying in. If this will connect, oh, just barely off the mark. He'll get the split off, but this is a victory for Complexity as long as they can disengage here. Z-Freak may be in some trouble. Telekinesis will buy him some time. Batrider stuck inside of the Cyclone, gets a pressure attack, but Z-Freak will not live. Now the rest of Leviathan are here. They're going to go for Limp. Force Staff will buy him some time as he gets hit by the dual breath. Makes it out, and it will just be a pick on the Rubik. Still not really the best trade for Leviathan, but they'll take any kills they can get at this point. Ooh, Blink Dagger on Tide. Okay, 19 minutes. Better late than never, Merlini.
Yeah, all things considered, not so bad without any ancient stacks. to his name. Limp has missed a couple of lassos. It's very difficult with the limited daytime vision that he has, but still, he's able to get the blah 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 before he gets the lasso, which means easy semi-victory for Leviathan.
Yep. A blah 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 indeed. Ooh, Bat Rider coming on the backside. Blink lasso at the ready. Oh, you might find a courier here. Nope. Blinks as he sees some heroes and
Nibbles the Wardus.
oh, Nibbles. Wow, that is an adorable courier. It's a flying turtle. Oh, look at how he flies.
The tortoise, sir.
Is a tortoise different from a turtle?
I believe so. Yeah.
Are they totally different, or is one a subset of the other?
I don't believe they're I don't know. Let me check.
Tortoise, turtle. I feel like turtle's like slang for tortoise or something. I'm not really sure. Shibby, he's invisible. And ooh, he's got a plate mail. Ice Blast will be way off the mark down bottom. Hits the trees, maybe just scouting it out, see if old Tide Hunter's hiding nearby. And maybe they'll find Shibby. Hey, it's Limp with a gem. Grab Shibby with a lasso right into Moon Meander, who's there with a duel. And that'll be a quick kill on the Brew. Lycan will get off the Shape Shifts. Ravage from Jenkins does some work, secures the kill onto the Rubik. Now they'll start to pursue out. So far, this Lycan not able to do too much damage. He will find Bloody Nine, dives the tower for it, but there's plenty of support nearby. Shredder forced to turn tail and run. Swindle will use the Stone Gaze. LVT happy to retreat anyhow, but they're not going to be so lucky. Nusham will throw out an Ice Path, buys some time. Enough for the Tide to be able to blink out, but now Nushi left behind. It'll be a quick 1-for-2, and Complexity clear out the wards, also getting some more damage on Moon Meander. So definitely a solid victory for the Dire, and furthering that gold experience lead now upwards of 12,000 apiece.
Some that are disabled are just so darn good versus Brewmaster Ultimate Duel
Dire's
and
top tower
Bat Rider
is
Ultimate
under
in
attack.
particular, and he's struggling to get these off. Leviathan, we're hoping for a smoke gank into the opposing secret shop into a Roshan. That's really what they came for. And with Brewmaster Ultimate, they just weren't able to kill any high priority heroes. Ideally, they like to kill the Bat Rider, but Bat Rider has his 4-staff. He also has a gem and Firefly, which is pretty difficult for him to kill. Or even, I think, like the AA could potentially lead to a Roshan attempt. But all they got was the Rubik. The Rubik.
Yep. So any update on the turtle-tortoise discussion, or too complex?
They're both reptiles from the family of testudines. The major difference being that the land-dwelling ones are called tortoises, and the water-dwelling ones are called turtles.
Oh, okay. So they're similar animals, different habitats.
Yes.
That's nice. Okay, well, sweet. Now I know. The land tortoise. I guess that makes sense. Oh, man. Turtles are cool. Lycan. He's got an Assault Kuros.
They don't have a name for a flying turtle, though.
Flying turtle. No, that would be awkward. I'm not sure how that shell would fly. I think that messes up the whole lift thing.
Maybe.
Jenkins farming up the dragons here. Yep, gonna get some decent farm up. That looks like he might be going for a pipe. Or just a casual cloak, but...
What, on Tide?
Mm-hmm.
He got one before his Blink Dagger.
Oh, really? He's had that cloak?
Yeah.
All right.
He was in Strug City.
You know,
so
I really
damage
wish the
control
cloak
mode.
added a little cloak to your character. I feel like that's like some immersion that we really need in Dota.
Radiant's top
Well,
tower is
boots
under
don't add
attack.
boots to your character.
I would be okay if they did.
That's
I
true.
would not.
What about on heroes like Viper, dude? Where do you put the boots?
I don't know. He either doesn't get
There's
boots
all
or you
these
just
questions,
put
man.
little boots under him. You know, I don't know. Put little boots on the end of his wings.
Ancient Apparition would look so silly with boots.
He would. If you don't have
Radiant's
feet, you don't
top
get
tower
boots,
is
but you
under
still get the
attack.
movement speed. It's like the...
Easy Roshan sneak. Is Limp going to actually scout this out?
He will. Oh, Rostam wards even come down to make sure they can do this. Let's take a look at Dire Vision. They've got a little bit. Is he going for the steal? There's the Flame Break. Aegis already picked up by the Lycan. Mystic Snake coming in will soften him up a little bit. But no commitment for a kill from Complexity. Noble effort. Oh, Lycan. He'll try to TP out. Moon Meander hops in with a duel. Ravage from Tide right away. No turnaround kills yet. They'll bring down the Aegis. Moon, force stab to the high ground. Bloody Nine taking a lot of damage. Primal Split comes off and gets hit by a boulder. And Bloody Nine will die. Swindle on the low ground. Uses the Stone Gaze. Stops a few of them in their tracks. Lycan will be running around as a wolf. Regen gets picked up by Jenkins. Now Swindle. Disabled in the middle of the fight. Could be in some trouble. They've lost their Jakiro. And Rubik gets traded for it. Shredder coming back in. He gets lassoed. The wolf is on the treadmill. Shredder will fall the second time. That makes it 2 for 2, but it's not over yet. Jenkins on the run, but Limp in hot pursuit. Has a flame break, knocks him back, stacking up the stickies. Shibby's coming in, and he runs out of Firefly. That might be where this stops. Moon thinking about reinitiating. Duel up in 2 seconds. Won't go for the Tide, hoping to find a brew, but they've already made it back to the tier 2s. Complexity still coming out okay there. It's a 2 for 2, but they do burn the Aegis in the process.
Sick forced after the high ground by Complexity to save Moon Meander and let him go in for round 2 after armlet toggling. If that doesn't happen, I think Leviathan get out with minimal damage because Dusa can't catch anyone. She has some move speed with FaZe and Yasha, but nothing like the mobility of the Legion commander. So that was the big victory for them.
Yep. And she's pretty consistently dual breath. It has a 50% uptime, so in those team fights, stands to reason he may be slowed down. Swindle has picked up a Daedalus, though, to go with his Yasha and Lincoln Sphere. So this Dusa is hitting pretty damn hard. Not the tankiest Dusa we've ever seen, but tanky enough. And
she's supposed to get controlled by the Brewmaster, though. Drunken Haze, pop Lincolns, or like Hurl Boulder and Cyclone to just absolutely control her in team fights.
He's been focusing the split more on the supports, it seems like. In that fight, he used the split initially to deal with the Rubik. First Boulder stunned Z-Freak. I'm not sure where the second one went, but it doesn't seem like the Panda's really been...
Bloody 9 too.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the Panda's really prioritizing the Medusa, instead just going for kind of the easier kills on the...
Yeah, she stoned out the supports, though. She stone-gazed the Jakiro as well as the Shadow Shaman, and they couldn't really move down the hill. And then on top of that, Lycanthrope was like on the other side of the fight, far deep in the river, trying to chase the Rubik, and Rubik died, but at the same time, Lycan was kind of split up from his team because of the Medusa. So I think if they can control the Medusa, they can just walk past her, and then their supports can actually do what they need to do, which is Hex and get Liquid Fire outs and etc. etc. Yeah. But Medusa doesn't have a BKB. You kind of have to punish her. She's so she does so much damage and has so much farm at this point that the best bet is to ignore her and not just tank through the damage, because you can't.
Yeah. This is that stage of the game where Deuce has had so much free farm around them. I mean, 18k net worth compared to the 10k of Lycan. It's just a world of difference. And it's allowed Swindle to go away with this pretty squishy Dusa build relative to what you normally see on a Medusa, which is like Lincoln's
super tanky.
Yeah, like Lincoln's Manta Scotty. That's a tanky Medusa build, and still almost impossible to bring down unless they focus everything on top of the Dusa, and then you still got your LC doing damage, your Bat Rider running around with fires. There's just too many heroes doing too much damage that they can't control, and yeah, there's your Manta out on Dusa, so even tankier.
As long as they have Stone Gaze up for when Lycan uses Shapeshift, they should easily win the fight.
Lasso onto Sunken, right into a duel. It'll be an easy pick on the Shadow Shaman, and Moon Meander will be happy to add his 156th victory to the trophy and push him to that 80 damage threshold. Swindle gushed on by Jenkins, and that'll be the end of the follow-up. Okay. Swindle not really much worse for wear after that.
BKB up on LC, so she should no longer be a priority target for Leviathan during Ravage. It's hard for them to kill any complexity heroes.
Yeah. And LC's getting to that stage where Moon hits decently hard. 80 damage at 28 minutes. Pretty good. And with the double damage rune, oh man, I don't want any of that blueberry. Up top, Shredder finds a kill onto the Ancient Apparition. Might still be able to make it out. Does get hit by the Ice Blast, so that will squish him up a little bit. Blink forward from Moon. Not even going to need it. Z-Freak, what's he stolen? Oh, it's just a Howl. But they'll get the kill on Shredder. And again, Moon getting some bonus damage out of it.
Their spells are also really good at locking down a Lycanthrope, too.
Yeah.
With the duel. Although you have to be pretty darn careful about that. But the Armlet will make that pretty easy. Blade Man would have done the same thing.
Now an Aghanim Scepter up on Z-Freak. So usually think about the upgrades it'll give you from ultimates on the other team, but I think often overlooked is just how much range it gives you on Spell Steal. It's absurd.
Only, it's a 5-second cooldown, too.
And a 5-second cooldown. Both of them together. I mean, look at that range. It's absurd, dude. It goes off the screen. So easy for Rubik to get those big steals from a pretty safe duration. You get your Brewmaster ult, which is great to steal. And even a Macro Pyre or Rost Awards. Any of those? I mean, it is a pretty good Ags game just in general here. If only Tidehunter Tentacles had an Ags upgrade, then Z-Freak would be having a field day.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what a cool would be for him. Kunkka boat thrown on top.
It would just be cool if the tentacles like grabbed onto you and then put you in like a little tentacle cage for an extra second or something. I don't know. Or like the stun was longer the closer you are to Tidehunter. Give it like a scaling increased stun duration. So if he's right on top of you, it's like a 5-second stun. That could be sick.
That'd be OP.
Maybe. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Get refresher on that. That'd be.
Well, yeah.
I don't know how you upgrade that all without making it just totally shit.
Well, you have to make it a good alternative to refresher because it's too crap. People will just go for a refresher instead.
Yeah.
So it has to be decent.
It has to be good enough. I don't know. I feel
or
like
just no scepter upgrade. I don't know if Ice Rock plans to have scepter upgrades for most heroes.
For every hero. I mean, is it over 50% now? Do most heroes have an upgrade? I think it's probably pretty close to 50%, if not more.
I'm not exactly sure.
That's a good little piece of trivia. Moon Meander in the mid lane, initiated upon. They all jump in, drop the hammer, but he gets off the BKB. Deuce is here, dropping the split shots like crazy. Moon goes down first, but LVT taking a lot of damage. Swindle just tanking the Macro Pyre for now. Will find the kill on the Jakiro. There's your Ravage from Jenkins, but it's kind of a last-ditch effort. He'll go down. Shredder reinitiates, but loses his wolf form. Limps there with the lasso. And that will make it a 2 for 3. Shibby goes back into brew form, trying to bring down Bloody 9, but not going to be able to do it. Instead, he'll get turned around on. 2 for 4 is the final tally. Shadow Shaman lives to tell the tale, but...
Control the Dusa, man. Gotta control the Dusa. That was actually a very good initiative for them. A ward surround on the LC and getting a fair amount of damage on her before the BKB pops.
Look at this team fight recap. A 2 for 4, and it's completely even. That just shows how much more valuable the 2 that they killed on Complexity are.
Not valuable enough.
Not valuable enough. You're absolutely right about that, good sir. 25,000 golden experience. Glyph has been used. This tier 3 tower destined to fall, and LVT, they are on their peg leg at this point.
The net worth difference is almost equal to just Medusa's straight net worth.
Yes.
Which is very sad.
So you can take Medusa out of the game, and Complexity is still even on net worth. That's disgusting. Swindle coming back in. He's got a full butterfly. BKB on the Bat Rider. And, well, level 2 Necrobook on the Lycan. That is much less climactic than those other 2 big items. But
Lycan,
it's something.
The Necrobooks don't do anything for Stone Gaze, too. They'll get Stone Gaze if they focus the Dusa, and then she'll just hit him down. And the pure damage doesn't even do that much either.
The chunk of Mana Burn is okay. I mean, Mana Burn in general is good against Dusa, but yeah, the units themselves don't do too much.
Top tower is under attack.
Can't get away with Lycan every game.
Someone in Twitch chat says Global Ravage for an Eggs upgrade.
Dude, Faceless Void used to have a global ultimate, and he used to stun everybody on the map.
That sounds fair. Shredder. Lasso, dueled, brought down. The wolf gets put inside of his cage tonight and looks like he's not getting dinner. Buyback on the Lycan, negative. Now the base in big trouble here, Merlini. Rasta wards, they're just going to get destroyed by Swindle. They'll press his attack. Swindle will be able to just tank it up. Now Moon Meander coming in. They'll bring down Sunken right away. Shibby hops into the fight, gets off the Primal Split. Moon locked down. Jenkins has an ultimate in 10. They just need to hang on until then. Moon Meander may well go down. The Primal Split good enough for that. Now Jenkins blinks forward, tries to get in position for the Ravage. 2 seconds when he goes down too damn quick. Brewmaster, he gets killed before he can even go back into brew form. In Complexity, you're just too big. Swindle is... He is the mountain you build a house on. GG, well played. Shredder calls it.
Man, this Bat Rider is pretty darn legit.
Yep, very solid.
He controlled the Tidehunter so well in the early game. They were really needing him for team fights because if they focus Brewmaster, then you need to blink in with Ravage, and then you get the Brew split off, and then you win team fights. That's generally how their possession should go. But Brewmaster couldn't get off any ultimates because the blink came out so late, and then by the time he did get blink dagger, the damage had already been done. So I think a lot of it was due to limp and a little bit of luck on the stacks. But 5-minute, level 6, just killing the Tidehunter over and over and over again.
Yep. The hashtag for this game is no mud golems. Lucky Bat Rider. Hashtag no mud golems. Good work, Limp. That's all skill, baby. But a good game for Complexity. They're still looking hot. Looks like...
it's a better draft for them. I think Swindle Melons seems to play the really farm-intensive cores a lot better than the Space Creators.
Yes, I would say so. He's pretty good at farming, and he has a pretty good sense of when to fight and when to farm, which is
like his Pucky died like so much trying to get stuff done.
Yeah, I think when he's supposed to control the tempos, he gets a little hyper aggressive sometimes, as we've seen with his Storm and also his Puck. But Lexi looking good. Maybe you're onto something, Merlini. They've sat back and evaluated their strategy for the Summit 2 and
GG dual Stone Gaze combo.
Yeah,
can't
dude.
stop the stone.
Starladder Season 11. Here comes complexity. Get out of the way, America, because they're going to Kiev. We'll see. But a good start. Very dominant victory here over Leviathan. So that's it. Wraps up our coverage today. The schedule's still a little funky for Starladder Season 11. Basically, the teams that have the lighter schedules are playing first. So it's been 1, 2, sometimes 3 games, hit or miss. But we've got all 3 regions going. So it'll be China tonight, then more Europe and America coming up tomorrow. I don't know who's casting.
What about C?
There's probably C too. I think all 4 regions are rolling right now. So
cool.
there's like basically 24/7 Starladder content for you to grab, including rebroadcast. That's it for us today, though. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zyori, that's Merlini, and we'll see you tomorrow in some fashion for more Starladder action.